Was pre-recorded. The North Penn High School Television Network presents North Penn Sports Action. The following is a North Penn High School Television Network sports exclusive and is intended solely for the use of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the North Penn High School Television Network is prohibited. And now, North Penn Sports Action.
From North Penn High School Gymnasium in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, it's Thursday night basketball being brought to you tonight by the North Penn High School Television Network. Hello again, everyone. This is Bob Troyansky along with Jeff Nish, bringing you tonight's game between the North Penn Knights and the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. North Penn High School is coming into this game off a loss to CB West this past Tuesday night by the score of 75-61. That leaves the Knights, coached by Coach Joe Heyer, with a league record of 1 win and 2 losses and an overall record of 2 wins and 5 losses. Hatboro-Horsham, coached by Walt Ostrowski, is coming off a loss to Whitehall by the score of 53-42, leaving them with a league record of 2 wins and 1 loss and an overall record of 4 wins and 5 losses. Jeff?
Thank you, Bob. North Penn is coming off a big loss to CB West. North Penn is in 6th place in the 8th Division Bucksmont League. On the other hand, Hatboro-Horsham is in 3rd place. North Penn coach Joe Heyer is disappointed over North Penn's losing record. Hatboro-Horsham's team consists of all seniors and juniors. On the other hand, North Penn's team is well-rounded. We don't have a big crowd yet, but I'm sure the seats will be filled at tip-off time.
There we see the Knights warming up. Jim Gulick along with Darrell Dorsey, Brian Wethy, Bill Coddington, Steve Melcher, and Mark Oxenreiter. Don't let me forget Derek Luby. This is the 4th league game for both teams. Once again, North Penn 1 win, 2 losses in league action, while Hatboro-Horsham 2 wins and 1 loss. So we should be seeing a good game here tonight. Just under a minute now before we get underway with the introduction of the starting lineups in the national anthem. And Derek Luby, Mark Oxenreiter go out to greet number 35, Jim Galligan, and Steve Labals for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters, the captains for tonight's game. Getting final instructions from the referees. Both teams now going back to their respective coaches.
Bob, of course, North Penn, hoping for a big night from both Brian Wethy and Bill Coddington. Both players have been playing very well lately.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to North Penn High School and tonight's Bucksmont basketball game between the Knights of North Penn High School and the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. And now introducing the starting lineup for tonight's game. First of all, for the Hatters, a 6'3" senior, number 33, co-captain Steve LeBeau. A 6'3" senior, number 43, co-captain Joe John. A 6-foot senior, number 11.
Starting for Hatboro-Horsham, Steve LeBeau.
A 6'2" senior, number 25.
Joe Thomas.
And a 6'8" junior,
Kevin Kelly.
Barry
Vaughn and Eggfogel.
With a 2-1 Buckmont league record.
And now the starting lineup for the North Penn Knights. Jim Gulick, number 4, 6'4" senior. 5'10" senior Mark Oxenreiter, number 22. At forward tonight, number 20, Derek Luby. Number 30, Bill Coddington. And Brian Wethy, 6'5" senior. So there's our starting lineup for tonight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem. So here we go, Game 4 in the Bucksmont League for both of these teams, the North Penn Knights and the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. There we see the crowd, not a very big crowd so far, but people are still arriving, and I'm sure we'll have a nice-sized crowd on hand tonight. So we're ready for the jump. Jumping for the Knights will be number 50, Brian Wethy. And for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters, be number 45, Ed Fogel. Tip won by Hatboro-Horsham, number 43, Joe Thomas. Thomas passes it over to number 25, Barry Vaughn. Vaughn over to Steve LeBose. LeBose back to Vaughn. To LeBose. Bose with the shot. Goes off the rim into the hands of number 43, Joe Thomas. Puts the shot up and it's good. Scored 2-0. Hatboro-Horsham drawing first blood tonight. Bill Coddington over to Mark Oxenreiter. Back to Coddington over to number 4, Jim Gulick. Coddington takes the shot. Goes off the rim and into the hands of number 33, Steve LeBose. LeBose passes it to number 25, Barry Vaughn. Vaughn over to 11. Kevin Kelly. Barry Vaughn to Thomas. Thomas back to Vaughn. Steve LeBose with the shot. Rebounded by Brian Wethy. And Bill Coddington will bring the ball up for the Knights. Passes it over to Mark Oxenreiter. Back to Coddington, over to Gulick. Knights looking for an opening. Pass to Brian Wethy. Inside, Wethy with the shot, and it's good. So we have a tie score, 2-2. 6:35 left to go in this first quarter. Kevin Kelly with the ball now. Tries to move inside. And they call an offensive foul on Kevin Kelly. Mark Jim Gulick, will inbound the ball for North Penn to Bill Coddington. Coddington over to Gulick. Gulick moves inside, puts a shot up, and it goes off the rim, and Gulick's fouled. So Ed Fogel, number 45 for Hatboro-Horsham, called with the foul, and Jim Gulick will go to the line with 2 shots. Gulick misses his first. Attempts his second. And it's good. So score 3-2 in favor of North Penn. Number 25, Barry Vaughn, bringing the ball up for Hatboro.
Bob, not a very big crowd on hand tonight. A little surprised at that. This being Thursday night, and of course no school tomorrow. Not a very big crowd at all.
Well, Jeff, you know there's a lot of people out there who have a lot of last-minute Christmas shopping to do tonight. Weather's been bad lately. Number 25, Barry Vaughn, takes the shot, and it's good. We have a score of 6-3 now in favor of Hatboro-Horsham. 5:45 left to go in this first quarter. Derek Luby tries to pass it off inside, and it's picked off by number 45, Ed Fogel. Knocked out of bounds by Mark Oxenreiter. So Hatboro-Horsham will retain possession of the ball. Vaughn with the inbounds pass to Fogel. Fogel with the shot, blocked by Brian Wethy. Mark Oxenreiter with the ball now. Oxenreiter puts the shot up. It's off the rim. And they call a foul on number 20, Derek Luby. Steve LeBeause with the inbounds pass to number 35, 25, Jim Galligan. Over to Kelly. LeBeause with a shot, rebounded by Brian Wethy. Wethy dumps the ball off to Bill Coddington. Coddington brings the ball up for North Penn, passes it over to Jim Gulick. Gulick moves around, covered well, passes it off to Mark Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter looks, fires to Gulick. Gulick with a shot, off the rim into the hands of Luby. Luby inside, and he's fouled. So Derek Luby goes to the line for the night. He will be shooting 2.
Bob, already Hatboro-Horsham has drawn 3 fouls. North Penn only 1. Last couple games, Derek Luby from North Penn has gotten into foul trouble, and he has the only foul from North Penn right now.
Luby really misses that first free throw.
He's had trouble.
A bad shot.
That's true, Bob. He's had trouble at the free throw line this year.
And he makes the second one. Score now 6-4 in favor of the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. Number 25, Vaughn, Barry Vaughn, brings the ball up for Hatboro-Horsham over to Kevin Kelly. Kelly inside to number 33, Steve LeBeause. LeBeause to number 43, Thomas. Thomas takes the shot, and it's good. 8-4 now, favor of the Hatters. Bill Coddington over to Gulick. Gulick back to Coddington, to Gulick. Gulick sets, shoots, goes off the rim and in the hands of Brian Wethy. And we have a foul called. And let's see what it is. Number 45, Ed Fogel, call with the foul. Number 21, Greg Nesbitt, checking in for the Hatters. Wethy with his first shot. Just off the rim. Score 8-4. Favor the Hatters. Wethy with his second. And he misses his second. And ball gets thrown around a little bit. Oxenreiter comes up with it. And he tries to pass it inside of Bill Coddington. And we have a jump ball. Also, number 43, Joe Thomas, and Bill Coddington will be jumping. Derek Luby with the ball for North Penn, over to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter to Coddington. Coddington back to Oxenreiter. Inside to Jim Gulick, over to Luby. Luby puts a shot up, rolls around the rim, and comes down into the hands of Hatboro-Horsham. Barry Vaughn bring the ball up to Thomas. Thomas with a shot, and it's good. So Hatboro-Horsham opening up a 6-point lead here. We have 3 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in this first quarter. Luby with the ball, inside to Wethy. Wethy with a shot, off the rim, tapped in by Bill Coddington. Nice rebound by Bill Coddington, Jeff. Number 25, Barry Vaughn, takes a shot, goes nowhere. Bill Coddington bringing the ball up for North Penn. Coddington over to Luby, and that ball just went out of bounds.
Bob, Hatboro-Horsham looks very sharp so far at the start of tonight's game. North Penn looks like they're trying to press it too much. They're too anxious.
Both teams taking their time setting up on offense and defense, Jeff. Not a very fast-moving game thus far. Number 11, Kelvin Kelly, over to Jim LeBeau. Steve LeBeau with a shot, and it's good. 12-6 in favor of the Hatters. 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter. Coddington brings the ball up for North Penn. Passes it into the hands of Kevin Kelly for Hatboro-Horsham, who brings it up. Gives to Barry Vaughn, back to Kelly. Kelly moves inside, passes it to Steve LeBeau. LeBeau to Thomas. Thomas with a shot off the rim, and LeBeau knocks that one in. North Penn calls a timeout here. Joe Heyer not liking the way his Knights are playing right at this point.
Yeah, Bob, North Penn not looking too sharp right now. They've only scored 6 points in the first 6 minutes, 5.5 minutes of play. They trail right now 14-6. Bob, North Penn seems to have the materials to win. They just can't seem to put it together.
Well, they seem to be putting a lot of shots up, Jeff. It just doesn't. They just don't seem to be dropping for North Penn so far this season.
That's the main reason for their 2-5 record.
They've had a couple close games, a couple of very close games, and we've seen 2 very good games with Lansdale Catholic and Penn Ridge High School right here in this gymnasium. Score 14-6 in favor of the Hatters. 2:33 left to go in the first quarter. Jim Gulick will inbounds the ball for North Penn. To Coddington. Coddington brings the ball up for the Knights. Looks around, passes it to Mark Oxenreiter, back to Coddington, to Gulick, to Coddington, to Gulick, to Coddington. Coddington moves around, passes it to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter inside, to Gulick, to Wethy, and Wethy puts a shot up, and it's good. 14-8 now, favor of the Hatters. Barry Vaughn to Steve LeBeau. LeBeau to Kevin Kelly. Kelly to Vaughn, to Kelly, who puts a shot up, off the rim, oh, nice save. But it's into the hands of Mark Oxenreiter. Passes to Brian Wethy, nice pass. But we have traveling called on Brian Wethy. Steve LeBeau inbounding the ball for North Hatboro-Horsham. Barry Vaughn bringing it up for the Hatters. Vaughn to Kelly. And we had some pushing going on inside the lane there, Jeff, between Derek Luby and I believe it was number 21, Greg Nesbitt.
Derek Luby has both of North Penn's fouls.
Vaughn with the inbounds pass to Kelly. Kelly over to Vaughn, to Thomas. Thomas goes back to Vaughn, who sets, shoots, and scores. 16-8 now. Hatboro with an 8-point lead over the Knights. Gulick with the ball. Over back to Coddington. Coddington sets, shoots, and scores. Nice shot by Bill Coddington, number 30. Barry Vaughn brings the ball up now for Hatboro-Horsham. Over to Steve LeBeau. Vaughn attempts to pass it to Nesbitt, but it's stolen by Mark Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter bringing the ball up for North Penn. Over to Gulick. Back to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter to Coddington, who sets, shoots, and it goes off the rim and into the hands of Steve LeBeau. Kevin Kelly with the ball now. Over to Vaughn. Vaughn moves inside, takes a shot, and it's good. 18-10 in favor of the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters.
Bob, Barry Vaughn seems to have a good outside shot, high arcing shot.
I'd have to agree with you there. Barry Vaughn been the story for the Hatters thus far. I'm also impressed so far by the play of number 33, Steve LeBeau.
The whole Hatboro-Horsham team seems to have a good outside shot so far. Both teams starting to speed it up a little bit now.
Derek Luby at the foul line, misses his first. 31 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Luby with his second. It's good. And number 52, Darrell Dorsey, now checks into this game, replacing number 20, Derek Luby. 26 seconds left. Vaughn to Kelly. Kelly brings the ball around. Fires to Vaughn. Barry Vaughn, number 25, moves inside. Passes up Joe Thomas. Thomas with the shot. Blocked by North Penn. Bill Coddington comes up with the ball. Passes it to Mark Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter to Gulick. Sets, shoots. Goes off the rim, and that ends the first quarter. Score 18-11 in favor of the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. And so far, Jeff, we have not seen much excitement in this game. It's just been back and forth. Both teams putting up the shots. And Hatboro-Horsham sinking 3 more than North Penn. The Hatters with a 7-point lead now.
That's right, Bob. It's a low-scoring game so far.
Joe Heyer talking to his Knights. North Penn cheering section starting to come alive. So we're ready to start the second quarter of play in this game between the North Penn Knights and the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. Let me remind you that this program is being brought to you tonight by the North Penn High School Television Network and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast without the express written consent of this network is prohibited. Number 33, Steve LeBeau, gets the ball off the jump, and Barry Vaughn brings it up for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. Vaughn. Thomas with the shot. LeBeau with the shot. And LeBeau is fouled. Darrell Dorsey charged with the foul. So Steve LeBeau goes to the line for the Hatters. Makes his first. Score now 19-11. Favor Hatboro-Horsham. LeBeau with his second. And he makes both. Phil Coddington's inbounds the ball to Gulick. Hatboro putting the press on, and it works successfully, but They call a jump ball. I'm surprised they didn't call traveling there on number 43, Joe Thomas, Jeff.
Yeah, he was scrambling around the floor while holding the ball.
Dorsey wins the tip-off. Oxenreiter with a nice effort to try to keep the ball from going out of bounds, but just doesn't work. Barry Vaughn now brings the ball up for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. We're in the second quarter. Score 20-11 in favor of Hatboro-Horsham. Kevin Kelly with the ball over to Vaughn, to number 43, Joe Thomas. Thomas travels. Bill Coddington brings the ball up for the Knights. Coddington to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter to Gulick. Back to Coddington. Tipped and shot by Coddington, and it's good. Score now 20-13. North Penn behind by 7. Brian Wethy to Mark Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter brings the ball up for the Knights. To Coddington, back to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter looks around, dribbles to the outside, takes a shot, and it's good. So Oxenreiter makes an outside shot. And it's Barry Vaughn bringing the ball up for Hatboro-Horsham to Kelly, back to Vaughn. Vaughn with the shot from the outside, off the rim, into the hands of Brian Wethy. Wethy gives to Bill Coddington. Coddington brings the ball up for the Knights, over to Oxenreiter. Back to Coddington. Coddington to Wethy. Wethy inside with the shot. Back into the hands of Wethy. Tipped by Coddington, and the ball just did not want to go into the net, Jeff.
That's true, Bob, and the officials letting some pushing and shoving inside. They're letting it go without calling any fouls.
Well, Wethy with a very nice effort under the boards. And now Joe Thomas for the Hatboro-Horsham puts one in for the Hatters. Mark Oxenreiter brings the ball up for North Penn. Oxenreiter tries to move inside. Ball's knocked out of bounds by number 43, Joe Thomas, for the Hatters. We have 5:34 left to go in this second quarter of play. Score 22-15 in favor of the Hatboro-Horsham. Coddington over to Dorsey. Dorsey with a shot off the rim, and it knocked out of bounds by Bill Coddington. Steve LaBowes with the inbounds pass to Barry Vaughn. Vaughn brings the ball up for Hatboro-Horsham. Over to Kevin Kelly. Kelly back to Vaughn, to Kelly. Trying to set something up here. Number 33, Steve LaBowes with the shot. Goes off the outside of the backboard. Mark Oxenreiter brings the ball up for the Knights, puts the shot up, and he's fouled.
Bob, North Penn looking much more impressive in the second period, only trailing by 7 points.
Mark Oxenreiter at the line for the Knights. He's shooting 2. Makes the first. Shooting his second, and it's good. Score now 22-17. Knights have cut Hatboro-Horsham's lead to 5 points. Darryl Dorsey with the tips into the hands of Oxenreiter to Gulick. Gulick dribbles around outside, passes it off to Bill Coddington. Coddington to Gulick, back to Coddington, over to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter with the shot. North Penn having a little trouble with their outside shot.
Yeah, Bob, but they're starting to force the turnovers.
And there you see the score, 22-17. 4:44 left to go in the second quarter. North Penn cheerleaders doing their best to get the crowd into the game. Very silent crowd here tonight, Jeff.
That's true, Bob. Very sparse crowd, too.
Hatboro-Horsham coming out of their huddle. And number 5. Brian Groff checks into the game for the Hatters. Mark Oxenreiter over to Darrell Dorsey. Dorsey back to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter moves around. Tries to pass to Jim Gulick. And it's knocked out of bounds by Hatboro-Horsham. Gulick with the inbounds pass for the Knights to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter to Brian Wethy. Wethy with the shot. Good. 22-19 score. Still in favor of the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. Brian Groff, number 5, to number 43, Joe Thomas. Thomas gets the ball knocked out of his hands into the hands of Kevin Kelly. Steve LeBeau with a shot, and a foul is called. Foul called on Bill Coddington. Steve LeBeau now goes to the line for the Hatters. Shooting 2.
Bob, North Penn playing very smart basketball in the second period. Has kept the lead to 4 points.
LeBeau makes his first, attempts his second, and it's no good. Mark Oxenreiter with a rebound. Over to Coddington. Coddington back to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter with a nice pass to Coddington. Coddington takes the shot, and it's good. And there it is. The fish swish. Kevin Kelly with the ball for the Hatters. Over to number 5, Brian Groff. Kelly to LeBeau. LeBeau moves inside, takes a shot into the hands of Mark Oxenreiter. Who comes around, brings it up court for the Knights, and steps back, passes it to to Jim Gulick, to Oxenreiter. Inside to Dorsey. Dorsey with the shot. Rebounded by Wethy, and into the hands of Coddington, who shoots and scores. So we have a tie ball game. And the North Penn Knights are starting to look sharp.
Yeah, Bob, and crowd's starting to come alive since they tied the game. North Penn using good defense and a quick, smart offense.
Greg Nesbitt fouled by North Penn, so he will go to the line. Rick Costello, number 10, checks in for the Knights, replacing Jim Gulick. Nesbitt with his first. Shooting 1-1, he misses. Nice play by number 43, Joe Thomas. Gets the rebound, puts it up, and it's good. Score 25-23. We have 2:33 left to go in this game half. Brian Groff brings the ball up for the Hatters. Over to Vaughn. To LeBeau. LeBeau attempts to move inside. Dorsey with a smart play, and we have a jump ball. Darrell Dorsey, a good, solid, smart basketball player for the North Penn Knights.
That's right, Bob, and they're forcing Hatboro-Horsham to slow the ball down.
Joe Thomas. Bill Coddington comes over top of him, charged with the foul. So Thomas will go to the line now for the Hatters. Score 25-23. Hatboro leading by 2. Joe Thomas with his first. Goes off the rim. And Thomas misses his second. Ball picked up by Mark Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter dribbles up court. Goes around to the right side over to Darrell Dorsey. To Coddington. To Brian Wethy with the shot. Good. 25-25, tie ball game. North Penn showing some nice quick passing there on that last play. Joe Thomas over to Brian Groth. Groth over to Barry Vaughn. Vaughn back to Groth. Groth dribbles around, passes to Vaughn, to Groth, attempts to move inside. And we have a foul called, and I believe it's going to be called on Rick Costello. That's what they call. Referee waiting for everyone to get set. Shooting 1-1, Brian Groth for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. Misses it. Rebounded by Brian Wethy, who passes it to Mark Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter with the shot, and it's good. So the Knights take a lead in this ball game, 27-25. We have 1 minute, 22 seconds left to go in this first half. Hatboro-Horsham calls a timeout. There we see head coach Walt Ostrowski and assistant coaches Pat Rosteich and Tom Richards talking to their Hatters.
Bob, North Penn so far in the second period has played an excellent game. Tight defense.
Jeff, Coach Ostrowski upset with his Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. You can see why they've allowed North Penn now to take a 2-point lead. They started off the second quarter with a 7-point lead over the Knights. Knights, on the other hand, have to be feeling good. They're in a very nice position right now. 1:22 left in the first half.
So far in the second quarter, a 9-point turnaround. North Penn comes from 7 down to possess a 2-point lead. 1:22 left in the first half.
Brian Groth brings the ball up for Hatboro-Horsham over to number 25, Barry Vaughn, to Groth. Groth back to Vaughn. Vaughn looks, passes it to Steve LeBose. LeBose to Groth. Groth moves outside, covered well by Rick Costello. Vaughn covered by Costello and Dorsey. Steve LeBose with the inside shot. Foul called. Foul's called on Brian Wethy, number 50 for the Knights. So number 33, Steve LeBose, goes to the line for the Hatters. 55 seconds left to go in the second half. First half. Second quarter. Bill Coddington bringing the ball up. Score 27-27. Close, very close ball game now. Coddington to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter dribbling. And jump ball called. Mark Oxenreiter was triple teamed there, Jeff.
Hatboro-Horsham trying to force a timeout. Timeout called by North Penn.
Coach Joe Heyer calls timeout for the Knights. So both teams now playing a smart basketball game. Hatboro-Horsham not looking as sharp as they did in the first quarter, but North Penn has come around and is giving the Hatters a very good game here.
Bob Wethy usually plays just about the whole game for North Penn. Already he has 3 fouls here in the first half, so he has to worry about foul trouble.
Have to agree, Brian Wethy, a very important part of the North Penn Knights attack, as well as defense. Very tall, good rebounder, and he's got a nice solid shot.
Bob Hatboro-Horsham has hit just about all our free throws. Very good free throw team.
Tie score 27-27. 35 seconds left in the first half. Vaughn with the pass to Groff with the ball. Back to Vaughn to Groff. Stolen by Rick Costello. And they say he stepped out of bounds. Rick Costello. LeBeau inbounds the ball to number 5. Over to Vaughn. To Groff. To Vaughn. Vaughn moves inside. Tries to dump it off to Steve LeBeau, but it's knocked out of bounds by Mark Oxenreiter. LeBeau with the inbounds pass. To Barry Vaughn. Over to Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas moves around, takes the shot. Rebounded by Brian Wethy, number 50. 2 seconds. 1. And that ends the first half of play. We have a tie ball game, ladies and gentlemen, 27-27.
Bob, very exciting second quarter. First quarter, very low scoring. Second quarter, very exciting basketball.
That's right, we have a very close game here now, Jeff. For a while there, Knights had me a little nervous. Thought maybe we might be in for strong play on the part of Hatboro-Horsham, and the Knights just they just looked flat in the first quarter, but they've come out and they've tied up this ball game, and it's 27-27 at the half.
We hope you have enjoyed the first portion of this contest on the North Penn High School Television Network. We'll continue with the next portion in just one moment. Stay tuned for more action.
Okay, we are back and ready for the second half of this very exciting ball game. Score tied up at halftime, 27-27. And while we're waiting for the teams to finish their warm-up, let me remind you that there has been a rule change instituted for the 1983-84 Bucksmont season. It goes something like this. Each team is entitled to 2 charged timeouts per half during a regulation game. During each extra period, each team is always entitled to at least 1 timeout. Unused timeouts do not accumulate from the first half to the second, and unused timeouts from the second half do accumulate, may be used in any overtime period. Final note is that successive timeouts by the same team shall not be granted at any time. So a little bit different from last year's ruling on timeouts. Let me also remind you that North Penn's next game will be at Plymouth Whitemarsh on Tuesday, December 27th. JV will start at 6:30. And varsity at 8 p.m. Jeff?
Thank you, Bob. We're almost underway for the second half. North Penn and Hatboro-Horsham tied at 27. Exciting first half basketball. Brian Wethy kind of silent for North Penn. Big players for Hatboro-Horsham have been Steve LeBeau and Barry Vaughn.
Well, I think I would add Joe Thomas, number 43, to that list. I think they've all been just about equally impressive for the Hatters. Mark Oxenreiter shooting well tonight for the Knights, as well as number 30, Bill Coddington, and number 50, Brian Wethy.
Bob, as I mentioned earlier, Hatboro-Horsham, a very experienced team. All their players, either seniors or juniors. We're just about ready for the second half tip-off.
Coach Heyer giving the Knights a few last instructions. Officiating for this game has been pretty tight tonight, Jeff. A little bit different than what we've seen in the past games here at this gymnasium.
That's true, Bob. They're letting they're not calling a lot of would-be fouls inside. They're letting a lot of things go. And both teams and coaches sort of like that style of officiating. Okay, we're ready to tip off. Head field goal against Brian Westy. Tip off won by Hatboro-Horsham. Barry Vaughn with the ball. Into Joe Thomas. Foul's called. Foul called on Bill Coddington.
Bill Coddington a little upset with that call.
Kevin Kelly with the ball to Barry Vaughn. Back to Kelly. Kelly to LeBeau's. Over to Thomas. Thomas with a jump shot, and it's good. So Hatboro-Horsham gave the first lead of the second half, 29-27, 7:20 left in this game, or in the third quarter. Bill Coddington with a jump shot.
Nice move by Bill Coddington.
No good, but a whistle blows. Foul called on Joe Thomas. Oxenrider with the ball to Coddington. Oxenrider with a jump shot. No good, rebound. Oh, it goes in. Get way on top of the rim and then went in. The North Penn ties with 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Kevin Kelly inside to Joe Thomas. Whistle's blowed. The whistle's blowed, but no foul called. Oxenrider with the ball. Tries the inside pass, but it's off a Hatboro-Horsham player. North Penn retains the ball. Bob?
Jeff, I can't understand that, why the referee would blow the whistle and then let play to continue. That's just totally confusing to both teams. And both teams were very upset by that. Referee's wondering what's going on.
Yeah, the whistle blew, but no foul was called.
And I think there's a whistle in the stands, Jeff. Referee saying they didn't blow the whistle. So somebody pulled a whistle out in the stands, I believe now, is what they're saying happened. But that's really bad news for both of these teams. It's really unfair because, you know, the concentration level is very high on this game, and they're set for that whistle to blow. And when the whistle blows, it should be by a referee and by no means by a fan.
Greg Nesbitt comes in. He spells that Vogel. Wepping is up for the shot, but he's fouled. Foul called on number 44. Foul call. I didn't see who it was called against. But Weppy to shoot two. Makes the first one, so North Penn gains the lead, 30-29. 6:36 left in the third quarter. Westy with the second one. That's good. 32-29 or 31-29 lead for North Penn. Kevin Kelly with the ball. Kelly and Vaughn having a catch. inside to Steve LeBeau's, but a foul called against Darryl Dorsey. That's his second personal foul. 2 team fouls against both North Penn and Hatboro-Horsham so far. So LeBeau's to shoot 2. In the air with the first one. Off the rim, no good. Second one in the air and good. Oxenrider with the ball. With a dribble. Over to Coddington. Coddington over to Jim Golick. In for North Penn, Golick, Dorsey, Wethy, Coddington, and Oxenrider. Oxenrider with a jump shot, and it's good. Oxenrider very sharp tonight, Bob.
Yes, he is playing a very good game, Jeff.
Wethy's pretty silent so far today. This evening, rather. Thomas with the ball. This is a shot. Brian Wethy comes up with the ball. Guarded closely, and I think there might have been a foul called.
Jeff, that comment you made about Brian Wethy being silent, I've been impressed by the play of the night tonight because of the fact that they're playing as a team, something that they've, in my opinion, their past games have neglected to do. We see Mark Oxenrider taking shots, Bill Kine, they're all taking the shots, and they're going in tonight for the Knights, and they look good. They look real good. Whereas before, Brian Wethy and Bill Coddington were leading the team along with Darryl Dorsey here, you know, and everybody's playing sharp tonight, and it shows.
That's exactly the case, Bob. Oxenrider with the ball. North Penn with a 3-point lead, 5:20 left. Coddington takes a jump shot, in and out, rebound, out to Oxenrider. Oxenrider with a jump shot, in and out. Dorsey with the ball. Dorsey misses the shot. Vaughn with the ball out to Kelly. Kelly back to Vaughn. To LeBeau's. LeBeau's inside. Number 31, Tim Lyons. He has it stolen away by Brian Wethy. Wethy out to Oxenrider.
Nice steal by Brian Wethy, Jeff. Very nice.
Oxenrider bounced past the Golick. Back to Oxenrider, who hands the goal to Coddington. Coddington back to Jim Golick. Swing it over to Oxenrider. Oxenrider goes inside for the layup, off the rim, rebound by Joe Thomas. Thomas out to Vaughn. Vaughn guarded by Golick. Out to Thomas, over to Kelly. Kelly swings it over to LeBeau's. This is a shot, rebound by Darryl Dorsey. Dorsey out to Oxenrider. Oxenrider slows it down and swings it to Bill Coddington, over to Jim Golick, back to Coddington. Coddington bounced past to Golick. Golick goes inside to Wethy. Wethy swings it back outside to Golick, over to Coddington. Coddington misses a shot, the rebound by Darryl Dorsey. Dorsey goes up, misses a shot, rebound by Wethy, and Wethy hits it off the glass. North Penn leads 35-30, 3:48 left in the third period.
And there you see the teamwork that we talked about earlier, Jeff. Dorsey and Wethy and Golick all moving around inside. It's not just one person, it's a team effort tonight.
LeBeau's over to Vaughn. Vaughn goes up and scores. 35-32, North Penn. Oxenrider to Coddington. Coddington back to Oxenrider. Oxenrider inside to Wethy, outside to Coddington with a jump shot. No good, rebound. Darryl Dorsey kicks it out of bounds. No, they call it kicked out on by Hatboro-Horsham. North Penn retains the ball. Very exciting third period so far, Bob.
Yeah, the North Penn Knights looking a little sharper than the Hatboro Hatters. 3-point ball game.
Vaughn with the ball, over to Kelly. Swings it to Barry Vaughn. Over to Lyons. Shot missed. Bill Coddington tries to outlet, but a weak pass stolen by Barry Vaughn.
Barry Vaughn is a very heads-up player for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. He's really playing a good ball game tonight.
Here's his high arcing shot, missed, rebound by Joe Thomas. Thomas puts it off the glass and scores. So Hatboro-Horsham has cut North Penn's lead to 1. Oxenreiter with the ball. Over to Golick. Golick outside to Dorsey, back to Golick. Swing it over to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter inside to Wefty. Wefty off the glass, no good. Rebound by Joe Thomas. So Joe Thomas having a good third period for Hatboro-Horsham. Ball knocked loose by Darryl Dorsey to Jim Golick. North Penn Knights slow it down. 1:57 left in the third quarter. North Penn 35, Hatboro-Horsham 34. Out to Golick. Golick hits the outside shot. Crowd starting to come alive here in the third period. Quick moving third period. Not a lot of turnovers. 1:35 left in the third period. Foul called against Jim Golick. I believe that's the first foul on Jim Golick. Not a shooting foul. Only three team fouls on both teams. 1:32 remaining. Kelly over to LeBeau's. Lowe's back to Kelly. Over to Vaughn. Into LeBeau's. Triple team. Out to Vaughn. Vaughn goes in. Misses rebound by Mark Oxenreiter. Off to Jim Golick. Golick takes a jump shot. Off the rim, rebound by Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas getting a lot of rebounds for Hatboro-Horsham. So both teams not making any substitutes this third quarter. Both teams are going to have some tired players. Ball knocked out by North Penn. Hatboro-Horsham keeps the ball.
Well, Jeff, both teams playing well with the teams that they have in there right now, so I could see the reasoning for the coaches not putting in substitutes at this point.
Exactly right, Bob. That's Tim Lyons. Lyons. Bad pass picked off by Brian Westy. Westy over to Bill Coddington. Coddington slows it down. 40 seconds left in the third quarter. So they want to slow it down and probably get the last shot off in the period. Take a 5-point lead. They lead 37-34. 30 seconds left. That's exactly what they're doing. They're slowing it down, waiting for Hatboro-Horsham to make their move. Golick to Westy. Westy back to Golick. To Coddington. 18 seconds left. Golick inside Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter to Golick. Golick with a jump shot. In and out. Darryl Dorsey goes up and scores, and he's fouled. Crowd comes alive with the electricity generated by Darryl Dorsey.
Did they ever, Jeff? They are really up now. 5-point lead for the Knights. Biggest lead of the ball game for the Knights.
Great play. Darryl Dorsey tries to make the bottom of the three-point play. Foul called on number 31, Tim Lyons. 8 seconds left.
Well, the fans here recognize good play by these ball players. One thing about these fans, they do stick behind the players.
Bob, 3 seconds left. Thomas has the ball stolen by Coddington. Coddington puts up a jump shot at the buzzer. Far short. But at the end of the three periods, it's North Penn 39, Hatboro-Horsham 34. Very exciting third period.
I'd have to agree, Jeff. If we were to score this by quarters, I guess we'd have to give the first quarter to the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. Second quarter, North Penn really came alive and tied the ball game up. They went to the locker room at halftime, scored 27-27 tie, and they've come out in this third quarter smoking. Coach Joe Heyer must have seen something in that first half. And I'm sure right now, Walt Ostrowski for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters is banging his head against the wall trying to figure out what's going wrong.
So if North Penn can keep the tight defense going and slick ball handling, they should keep the lead in the fourth quarter, Bob.
That's right, Jeff. Let me again remind you folks at home that this program is being brought to you tonight by the North Penn High School Television Network and is intended solely for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast of this program without the express written consent of this network is prohibited.
Thank you, Bob. Tip-off is between Ed Fogel and Brian Wethy. Tip-off won again by Hatboro-Horsham. Vaughn with the ball. Passes to Kelly. Kelly inside to Fogel. Back outside to Vaughn. Vaughn to Kelly. Kelly with a jump shot. No good. Rebound by Bill Coddington.
Bill Coddington playing a good second half of this ball game.
Bounce pass to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter back to Golick. Golick inside, outside to Coddington. Bounce pass to Oxenreiter. Swing it over to Dorsey. Dorsey back to Golick. And to Coddington. Coddington with a short jump shot. No good.
Nice try by Darrell Dorsey to keep that ball in bounds, but he just knocked it out a little.
He was holding the ball, I believe, when he stepped on the end line. So Barry Vaughn with the ball. Over to Lewis. Lewis inside the lines, but a foul called on Darrell Dorsey. They don't have the foul. They're not keeping track of the fouls on the scoreboard, but I believe that's the third foul on Darrell Dorsey. So Lions to shoot 2.
So Darrell Dorsey and Brian Wethy have to watch themselves, keep themselves out of foul trouble here for this final period of play.
In the air with a second, and it's good. So Hatboro-Horsham cut North Penn's lead to 4 points, 6:55 left in the game. Coddington over to Oxenreiter. Hatboro-Horsham playing a trap defense. Oxenreiter over to Golick. Golick swing it around. Coddington. Golick with a shot. No good. Rebound by Brian Wethy. Wethy bounce pass to Coddington. Coddington hits the jump shot. The North Penn takes a 6-point lead. 6.5 minutes left in the game. Kevin Kelly with the ball. Over to Vaughn. Vaughn to Kelly inside. To LeBeau.
Nice rebound by number 43, Joe Thomas.
6:10 left in the game. North Penn with a 4-point lead. Oxenreiter with the ball. Over to Golick with the ball almost stolen away. Back to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter pounds the dribble. Swings it to Coddington. Coddington over to Golick. So both teams using the same players as they did in the third period. Doesn't seem to be getting into them. Inside to Wethy. They found Wethy all alone, and that's the key to North Penn right now.
Beautiful pass to Wethy inside. That was just good heads-up basketball.
That's true, Bob, and Hatboro-Horsham left him wide open. Vaughn with the ball, back to Kelly. Kelly bounce pass inside to LeBeau. Ball saved to Oxenreiter, but back to Kevin Kelly. Kelly to Vaughn, high looping shot. He scores 43-39, 5:15 left in the ball game. North Penn doing a good job to keep their lead, and they're slowing the ball down. Golick inside to Wethy. Wethy outside to Dorsey. Dorsey left wide open. This is a shot rebound by Joe Thomas. So Joe Thomas with Hatboro-Horsham grabbing a lot of rebounds, a lot of offensive rebounds. Ball knocked away. Mark Oxenreiter brings it up. Bounce pass to Golick. Golick slows it down. Hatboro-Horsham fans want to walk. Golick swings it out to Oxenreiter, and Oxenreiter hits the jump shot.
Nice shot by Mark Oxenreiter. He's really played a nice game thus far tonight.
True, Bob. He's been handling the ball well tonight. And he's also hitting his outside shot. Whole North Penn's hitting their outside shots since the beginning of the second quarter, and that's been the missing link to North Penn's season so far. North Penn with a 4-point lead. 4:15 left in the ball game. Coddington knocked out, I believe, by Darrell Dorsey. So they turn it over to Hatboro-Horsham. LeBeau to Vaughn. Vaughn brings up court, long pass to Kelly. Kelly back out to Vaughn. Vaughn sets the play up. Passes to Kelly. Kelly into LeBeau. And to Ed Fogel. Fogel hasn't played a lot of minutes for Hatboro-Horsham. He's a big man, and he's fouled. Foul call on Brian Wethy. I believe that's his fourth.
North Penn calls a timeout.
They want to slow the momentum down. They don't want the momentum to get to Hatboro-Horsham's side, Bob.
So there we see the score, 45-41. Knights have a 4-point lead. Fourth quarter, 3:56 left to go. And Jeff, we're watching a well-coached, well-executing North Penn Knights basketball team. Hatboro-Horsham has got to come around in these last 4 minutes right here, try to put something together to, if they want to take over the lead from the Knights.
That's for sure, Bob. Hatboro-Horsham played a great first period, but just couldn't seem to get it going in the second period.
And I'm sure North Penn would like to come out of this ball game with a 2-2 overall Bucksmont League record. That would put their overall record at 3-5.
Ball's missed and is out to Mark Oxenreiter. 3:50 left in this game, 45-41 North Penn. Out to Gulick. The North Penn is trying to stall and take a high percentage shot. Gulick banks it off the glass. North Penn takes a 6-point lead.
Jim Gulick playing a very good second half here in this game.
Ball knocked out, I believe, by Bill Coddington. Pete LeBooz, or Steve LeBooz, to inbounds to Vaughn. Ball picked off by Brian Westy. Oxenreiter up to Gulick. Gulick back to Oxenreiter. Steelers trying to slow it down and take as much time as they can before each shot. Bounce pass to Coddington. Oxenreiter yells out the play, goes inside. Ball knocked away by Ed Fogel. 3:07 left in the ball game. 47-41. North Penn has a 6-point lead. I'm sure Joe Heyer a lot more comfortable than he usually is at this stage of the game.
Well, you can bet that the North Penn Knights are looking right here to give Coach Joe Heyer an early Christmas present. A win right here would be nice. He might not be able to put it under the tree, but I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Thomas to LeBooz. LeBooz back to Thomas. Thomas goes in, foul called. Foul called on Jim Gulick, I believe. So Joe Thomas to shoot two. 2:41 left in the air with the first one and good. So that's what hurt North Penn in the Penridge game, was Penridge's ability to hit the free throws. Hatboro-Horsham has the same tonight. They hit both of them. Cut the North Penn lead 47-43. So not many points scored in this fourth quarter. That's because North Penn trying to slow it down and keep the lead and waste some time. Time on their side right now, that's definite.
Beautiful play. Absolutely beautiful. Darryl Dorsey went up into the air. Alley-oop.
Darryl Dorsey, very hustling ball player, especially tonight. Vaughn, with that high arcing shot of his, hits it. Timeout called by Hatboro-Horsham. So 2:11 left in the ball game. North Penn 49, Hatboro-Horsham 45.
Coach Walter Strowski talking to his Hatters, and Joe Heyer going over the game plan for these final 2 minutes. (49-45) favor of the Knights. 2:11 left to go.
So you see Joe Heyer talking to his players. I'm sure they'll probably play the rest of the game. In for Hatboro-Horsham, Brian Gross. He is up, misses a shot. He's up again and misses it. Foul called. So Gross spells Tim Lyons. 2:05 left in the ball game. North Penn cannot start committing fouls. The foul shot is missed and it's hauled down by Bill Coddington. Fans would be very disappointed tonight if North Penn lost their lead just after having a 4-point lead this stage of the game. Out to Brian Wethy. Wethy to Coddington. Wethy to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter slows it down and calls out the play. Guarded by number 5, Brian Gross. Out to Coddington. Coddington hits a jump shot. North Penn, without a victory at home this season, this would be their first. Ball knocked away by Jim Golick. Golick goes up for the layup. He scores and he's fouled. Great play by Jim Golick.
Golick with the opportunity now to turn this into a 3-point play, and North Penn has come alive here in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Being brought to you by the North Penn High School Television Network. So Jim Golick has really come alive in this second half, and he's playing an excellent game, as are the rest of the North Penn Knights team. They've taken an 8-point lead here, could increase it by 9.
So Jim Golick hits the bottom of the 3-point play. So North Penn very quickly has mounted a 9-point lead. Ball stolen by pass to Bill Coddington. And Coddington and Gross exchanged some words. LeBeau's exchanged some words. Foul called on Pete LeBeau. Their 9-point North Penn lead, 1:11 left in the game.
Coach Walt Ostrowski very upset with the call, but I'd have to agree with the referees, Jeff. That was blocking.
So Coddington to shoot 1-and-1. This is the first one, rebound by Ed Fogel. So Fogel finally trying to get starting to get some penalty or some playing minutes for Hatboro-Horsham. Rebound missed out to Joe Thomas. Thomas with a shot and it's missed. Some battling inside, and Dorsey and Thomas knocked to the deck. Foul called on Darryl Dorsey. I believe that's his 4th personal.
So Darryl Dorsey just has to watch himself. We only have 51 seconds left to go. Knights looking to bring Christmas home to Joe Heyer tonight. They don't want to wait till Sunday.
In the air with a second, no good. Rebound by Darryl Dorsey. So Dorsey playing a heads-up ball game for North Penn. Back to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter fouled by LeBeau. In the air and no good. Rebound by Ed Fogel. Fogel to Vaughn. Vaughn off the foot of Gulick.
That was more off of his shins. His shins don't feel so good right now, I'm sure.
Ball out to Kevin Kelly. Kelly to Vaughn. Vaughn to LeBeau's. Foul called. Offensive foul. No, it's called on Mark Oxenreiter.
Hatboro-Horsham trying to execute quick catch-up offense here. They're down by 8.
I think it's a little too late right now, Bob. 31 seconds left.
You know what they say, Jeff, the game's never over till the fat lady sings.
First free throw is missed. Second one in the air and good. Down Dorsey to Jim Golick. Golick inside to Westy. Westy goes up. But it's knocked away. Back out to Oxenreiter. Oxenreiter back into Golick. To Westy. Westy fakes the shot and pushes it out to Mark Oxenreiter. So intentional foul called against number 43, Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas putting his arm around the ref.
Consulting the referee, who's about a half foot smaller. So Oxenreiter to shoot 2. Makes the first one. North Penn has gained a 9-point lead. 13 seconds left in the game. So Bob, very exciting game and a very optimistic game for North Penn. Foul shot is missed. 9 seconds left. Inside of Thomas. Thomas. Foul by Dorsey, and he scores. Foul count. That's on Dorsey, and I believe that might be his 5th foul.
We have 6 seconds left in the ball game. North Penn ahead by 6.
Some of the crowd starting to file out on Hatboro-Horsham's side, as well as on the North Penn bleachers. Many of the fans starting to get up now. Darryl Dorsey gets a big round of applause as he's spelled by Derek Luby.
Well, he's played an excellent game tonight, Jeff. He should be proud of his play tonight.
He might be the most valuable player for North Penn tonight. I don't know. Many players played very well. Jim Golick has to be up for considerations, as well as Mark Oxenreiter. 5 seconds left. Jim Golick to inbound. Long pass to Brian Westy. 4 seconds left. Westy, intentional foul by Pete LeBeau.
So it looks like just a little too late for the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters. And it looks like North Penn will come out of this game with a 2-2 Bucksmont record. As well, the Hatboro-Horsham Hatters will come out of this game with a loss, giving them a 2-2 record in Bucksmont play.
3 seconds left. Westy makes the first one. The North Penn with a 7-point lead. 3 seconds left. Westy to shoot the second of 2. In the air. No good. Rebound by Luby, but lost to Kelly. That's the game.
And that'll do it.
So at the end of the game, it's North Penn 56. Hatboro-Horsham 49. Very good game on the part of North Penn. North Penn, led by Mark Oxenreiter, Darryl Dorsey, and Jim Golick, all played fantastic. Bill Coddington also played a very good game.
We said it before, Jeff. This was a well-rounded team effort. It wasn't one or two individuals scoring all the points tonight. Mark Oxenreiter was scoring. Darryl Dorsey scored. Wethy was a little quieter than he's been in recent games. And when you look at the other hand, Hatboro-Horsham, good play by number 25, Barry Vaughn, number 43, Joe Thomas, and 33, Steve LaBelle. But just not strong enough. They came out shooting very well in the first quarter. Second quarter, North Penn caught up. We went to half at 27-27. And this whole second half has been North Penn, Jeff.
That's true, Bob. Well, really, the last 3 quarters, North Penn has dominated. They caught Hatboro-Horsham early in the second quarter and took the lead, and they never really were threatened after that.
Well, I'm sure the crowd is going to be happy with this win, their first home victory of the season. And let me take this opportunity to thank our crew. Our executive producer is Mr. Earl Cardellino. Our director is Dave Deichler. Audio director John Stewart. And our camera people tonight are Matt Robinson, Art Freed, Craig Holland, and Stephen Reese. So we come to the end of another game. Both of these teams come out of this game with a Bucksmont record of 2-2. And for the North Penn High School Television Network, this is Bob Tryansky along with Jeff Nish wishing you happy holidays and good night.
This has been North Penn Sports Action on the North Penn High School Television Network. Be watching for details on the next North Penn Sports presentation. This program was pre-recorded.